All right, I think we are starting up. Yep, we should be live now. How's it going, guys? Happy Hump Day. Here to talk about the 9-game NBA slate, obviously. Again, we'll keep the same schedule as always. We'll go over, the news, the injury news we have so far. We can look at Vegas numbers. We can talk about players, their prices, kind of who I'm targeting, give you guys a cash game core, and then answer any questions we have or you guys have at the end. So yeah, I'll just start at the top or the beginning of the day. Aaron Gordon on track. I believe he just got ruled in. Garrett Temple ruled out. Not huge news, but could make a couple of those fringe Nets guys a little bit more viable. We have Markin is going to play, but going to be limited. Wendell Carter Jr. is going to play, be limited. Same thing with Otto Porter. All three are going to play, but be limited. So not super excited about any of those guys. The whole Boston news, so Kemba's out, Hayward is out, and Jaylen Brown are out, whereas Jason Tatum and Marcus Smart are playing. Now, Jason Tatum's almost 10K on DraftKings, so I still think he is a pretty solid play, but I don't think he's a must play at that price. Ish Smith, actually doubtful. That's somewhat significant as well. He was playing the backup point guard. He was playing mid-20s minutes. A guy like Shabazz Napier should get a little bit more run, or they could dust someone off the bench. We'll talk about that a little bit more. Thomas Bryant out, not playing huge minutes, so it could make a guy like Mo Wagner. I've heard his name a little bit. He could become a little bit more viable. George Hill out, again, not huge news, but makes, that's a boost to Bledsoe if you're considering Bledsoe. I really wasn't, but Zion on a back-to-back, not in the injury report, so it looks like he's going to be good to go. Sir Dominic Pointer, yeah, I just made a tweet about that. I was like, he's a must-play. Just hilarious name there. He signed a 10-day contract with the Cavs. I actually don't know if he's going to be available tonight or not. And that's somewhat significant because if he's not, Cavs could just run again a 7-man rotation like they did that last time out. Let's see. Jordan McRae has been claimed by the Pistons, and he's going to be available to play. So those value Pistons guards I talked about in video last night, I'm not really on with McRae. Is going to be available to play. Now, McRae was in the player pool. I would have really liked him, but unfortunately, he's not in the DraftKings player pool. Tristan Thompson out. Cavs are starting the same lineup as they did last time. Sexton, Porter Jr., Osman, Nance Jr., and Love. I have some interest in the Cavs a good amount just because, again, they're going to run a pretty thin rotation. Jordan McRae available to play. Bruce Brown out. Aaron Holiday starting for Oladipo. A little bit of interest there. Not much, though. Again, Tatum's playing. Mitchell Robinson, I believe, just got ruled out. Yeah, ruled out. So makes a guy like Bobby Portis a lot more viable. Just because Taj Gibson, he's not going to play huge minutes at center. I don't think. I think they're going to want to give Bobby Portis that run. And he's a better point per dollar guy. So I have some interest in Bobby Portis now as a value option. All right, that's what we got so far. Let's take a look at some Vegas numbers. I might have to refresh this. I haven't refreshed it since last night. So we have the Celtics and the Cavs, 215.5 over under. The Celtics are 4.5-point favorites. We have the Thunder and the Pistons, 209 over under. The Thunder 9-point favorites. We have the Pacers, Bucks in at 221 over under. The Bucks are 11-point favorites. Grizzlies, Nets. This one's interesting to me. I like this one a good amount. 223 over under, 1-point spread. The Nets are favored by. Jazz, Knicks, 220 over under. The Jazz are 9-point favorites. Magic, Heat, 219 over under. The Heat are 7-point favorites. We're the Bulls. Timberwolves tonight 231 over under. The Timberwolves are 1.5-point favorites. Pelicans, Mavs 240.5 over under. The Mavs are 6.5-point favorites there. Wizards, Trailblazers 243 over under. Trailblazers are 8-point favorites. That basically rounds it out for Vegas. So let's get into the team by team breakdown here. Again, if you guys enjoy this content, and you're not subscribed to the channel, would appreciate if you hit that subscribe button. Also like the video or like the live stream video and hit that notification bell. It does really help me out to be able to provide you guys with all this free content. So let's start with the Pacers and the Bucks. So on this slate, Aaron Holiday is starting at 4.4K, but man, he was terrible the last game. Played 35 minutes, only had 16 fancy points. I think he's a value play that is okay. I'm not like overly excited about him, but I think he is someone that you can consider to save some money. He does have upside when he's shooting the ball well, but he's playing with higher usage guys in the offense, obviously like Brogdon, Sabonis, T.J. Warren. The starters here like Sabonis, Brogdon, they're just contrarian GPP options. I can't get to these guys in cash. There's there's better plays we'll talk about in a bit. We'll talk about the Boston-Cleveland game where I have a lot of interest in that one. Honestly, there's really not a whole lot I'm super excited about here on the Pacers. Again, the Holiday brothers are more viable with no Oladipo, but I still don't know if I get to either of them. Kind of rounds it out. Like, yeah, Turner's been playing more minutes, but I don't want to go there, 5.5. Again, Brogdon's, it's a revenge game. If you're big into revenge game narratives, sure, he's been playing bigger minutes, but yeah, I think the really only two guys I would have interest in are Sabonis and Brogdon, but they're just more contrarian options right now for me. On the Milwaukee side, I do have some interest in Giannis Antetokounmpo at 11.4K. Had a bad game the last game, only 40 fantasy points. A really surprising bad game from him, but normally he's been a guy that gets you like at least 50 fantasy points. I think that bad game is going to lower his ownership. It's not necessarily the best spot, but you're going to get a pretty low-owned Giannis tonight. And that's, when you can get a low-owned Giannis, it's never a bad idea to take a shot at him in a couple lineups. I'm not going to get to Middleton at that price. Now, George Hill being out does make Bledsoe a little bit more viable. Bledsoe's minutes have been way down. You got to assume his minutes are going to go up with no George Hill. Still, though, 5.9K, it's not something I'm like overly excited about either. The value options, sure, maybe DiVincenzo picks up a couple extra minutes. Maybe you could argue Connaughton gets a little bit more run. At almost min-price, sure, he's okay. He's a guy that, does get peripheral stats. I'm okay taking a dart throw there in Connaughton. But that's really it. No one I'm like overly excited about in this game to play. Let's see. Let's refresh Fantasy Labs. Again, I want to keep updated with all this news. All right, nothing more yet. So let's go to the next game here, Boston-Cleveland. So this game is a shit show to say the least. We have no Kemba Walker, no Gordon Hayward, no Jaylen Brown. So Jason Tatum at the top at 9.9K, I think does stand out as a good sped-up option. He's going to have to do a whole lot offensively. He is a guy that can get you easily 50 plus, 60 plus, but again, 9.9 does feel like he's not like a smash play, right? Like I think I'm going to prefer Luka Doncic for $1,000 more against the Pelicans compared to Jason Tatum, but it's close. It is close. I do like those guys both as spend-ups. I think I'm just going to slightly give the edge right now to Doncic. But yeah, Tatum, going to play big minutes. They're missing three of their main guys. It's a good matchup. I think he is a really solid spend-up, but right now I'm just, in my lineup at least, I'm slightly giving the edge to Doncic over Tatum. Marcus Smart is a guy that I do like as well at 7K. He's going to play big minutes. He's going to have to run the point a good amount. We've seen 43, 51, and 47 fantasy points the last 3 games. He's a guy that gets those peripheral stats. It's a good matchup. I really like Marcus Smart. I think I would prefer Marcus Smart to Jason Tatum just for the salary, right? Smart's at 7K, whereas Tatum is at almost 10K. I think you can play both if you want to, too. I don't think that's out of play if you're playing both Jason Tatum and Marcus Smart. The center spot, I'm not going to get to Tice at that price. Cantor is just a dart throw because they still have Robert Williams they can use too, so I'm just not confident with the bigs minutes. The other guys that are viable now, like a Brad Wanamaker at 3.5K, I know every single time this guy is chalk, he lets you down, but you got to think, he plays 25, 30 minutes at this price. I think you have to have some interest there. Javonte Green got some decent run the last game. He played 21 minutes. He's another, cheap option you could consider. The issue, though, with these like really cheap guys, like Wanamaker, like Green, is they still have a lot of guys at the end of the bench they can use, right? They have Semi Ojeleye, they have Carson Edwards, they have Grant and Robert Williams, they have Tremont Waters, Romeo Langford. So, there's a chance that, Brad Stevens just gives huge minutes to Smart, huge minutes to Tatum, and everyone else kind of just, gets like 20, 25 minutes. So, that's my concern with these cheaper guys like Wanamaker, like Javonte Green, is that the Boston they still have a lot of guys they can use. So, yeah, you would assume Wanamaker and Green get more run here, but you just never know. I think that really does it, though, for Boston. So let's talk about Cleveland. Cleveland is going to be super short-handed here. No Drummond, no Tristan Thompson, no Garland, no McKinney, no Dante Exum. And they did sign, again, that guy, Sir Dominic, whatever his name is. I don't know if he's going to be available tonight. I'm actually curious. I'll do a Twitter search on that on my phone, I guess, see if I can find anything. Let's see if you guys find that out, let me know if he's going to be available or not. because that could be potentially another body they could use. But yeah, so last game that all these guys were out, the Cavs ran a 7-man rotation. Love, Sexton, Nance, Porter Jr., Osman, Dellavedova, and Ante Zizic. I don't really have any interest in Ante Zizic. She only played 17 minutes, not enough for me to get there. Dellavedova is a guy that I think is in play, played 29 minutes. Not like you're not going to feel great about this, but 3.5K, if he gets mid-20s minutes, I think he is a value guy you definitely can consider. And then we'll get to the starters, right? So Osman, Kevin Porter Jr., Nance, Love, and Sexton. I think my favorite 3 would be the cheapest 3 there, with Osman, Porter Jr., and Nance. I think my favorite being Larry Nance at 6.5K, just because I think he probably gets about 40 minutes again. They're pretty thin up front, so I don't think they want to play Zizic big minutes. Love, they've shown they don't want to give him like huge minutes, right? They give Love like 32. Nance is a guy that I love playing because he gets those peripheral stats. So I have a good amount of interest here in Larry Nance. Again, the match against Boston, I'm not super concerned because they're missing Brown. They're missing Gordon Hayward, right? They're missing some solid pieces in their lineup. So yeah, I have a good amount of interest there in Nance. I like Kevin Porter Jr. and C.D. Osman as well. I think both these guys get 35 to 40 minutes would be my best guess. Not super high usage guys, but the minutes are going to be there for these guys. So yeah, I do have interest in both Osman and Kevin Porter Jr. The 2 top guys like Love and Sexton, I'm not going to get to Love at his price. He only played 32 minutes. Yeah, I just think there's better options if you're spending up more. Colin Sexton, I know he had a big game, 50 fantasy points. I don't know if I get to him at this price. I think I'll let others chase. I know he's been solid. 35, 44, 24, 50 fantasy points. He's just kind of scoring dependent as a guard. He had 32 real-life points. I think I'd prefer the cheaper options here in Cleveland to Sexton. And, yeah, that really does it. Let's refresh this one more time, see if we got any more news. All right, nothing more yet. So, let's talk about OKC, Detroit. OKC, it's pretty simple, right? These guys are all fillers. No one I ever really get to, unless someone's missing or it's like an amazing matchup or someone's like really mispriced. But Schroeder, Gallinari, Adams, SGA, Chris Paul, it's a good matchup. There's some blowout risk there because Detroit is so bad. I'm not getting to anyone here on OKC. On the Detroit side, so no Derrick Rose, no Kennard still, no Bruce Brown. Brandon Knight, status is up in the air. This actually is somewhat significant news. If he misses, there's more minutes to go around for those guards. But they did sign Jordan McRae, and he's going to be available. So that kind of takes those really like cheap punt plays like Derek Walton Jr., Langston Galloway out of play for me. I have some interest in Svi at 3.9, 30 and 39 minutes in back-to-back games. Not a super high usage guy, but if he's going to get over 30 minutes at under 4K, I think he's a viable punt. I don't think I get to John Henson at 4.3. Again, Knight, if he plays, I would have some interest there at 4.5, especially if he starts. Only other guy I have some interest here is Christian Wood at 7.7K. He's going to be the main guy here in this offense. The matchup, not really great against Steven Adams, but he's going to have to do it all offensively. So I do have some interest there in Wood. I don't think he's going to be that high owned, but I think that does it for Detroit. Let's move on to Utah. Utah, surprisingly, is a team I have no interest in on the slate. Mitchell and Gobert seem priced about right. Bojan's too scoring dependent. I'm not going to get to Clarkson or Ingles or O'Neal. Mike Conley's the only guy I would have some interest in at 5.7K. We're going to get 30 to 35 minutes. It's a good matchup, but does he really have that upside? I just think he's an okay play. And really, that's it. Utah is a team I don't have much interest in at all. On the Knicks side, a little bit more interest here for me. Randall, 7.7, more of a contrarian option there. No Mitchell Robinson. He's probably going to have to. He might get a little bit more run at the center position. I have some interest as a contrarian play. Kind of, he's like in the same boat of like Sabonis and Brogdon. No one I really get to for cash. Alfred Payton at 6.5. Don't know if I get to him either. Only played 19 minutes the last game, which is concerning. I'm not going to get to RJ Barrett at that price. Mitchell Robinson is out, which is pretty big news. He's playing 25, 30 minutes a game. Those minutes have to go somewhere. We know Utah runs big. I don't really think they're going to want to play Taj Gibson huge minutes just because he's a veteran, right? He did play 24 the last game. I think Bobby Portis is going to eat up more ownership. So if you want to, get risky and go Taj Gibson instead of Bobby Portis, I don't hate that. I think I would just prefer Bobby Portis. I think gets more minutes. He's a guy that, I think we get 25 to 30 minutes from. He's normally a pretty productive guy. I know the matchup's not great, but if we can project him for about 25, 30 minutes, I think he does stand out as a pretty solid value play. Harkless, I don't think we have to go there at 3.8. He's been okay, but I think there's better options. Ntilikina 3.7 got extended the last game, but don't know if we can trust those minutes. So yeah, I think that does it for you or for the Knicks. I think the main interest there is actually those cheap bigs with Bobby Portis and Taj Gibson with no Mitchell Robinson, and then Julius Randle is a punt contrarian play, not a punt play, but a contrarian play. Orlando, Miami. This is honestly a game I have very, very little interest in. Should be a good game to watch, but two good defensive teams, two teams that played a slow paced. Aaron Gordon is playing too. Yeah, I have no interest here in anyone in Orlando, to be honest. Like, if you're going to make me play one, it would be Vooch at 8.5, but I just think there's better options, better spend-up options on the slate. Miami side, kind of the same thing. I have no interest here. Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler, sure, you can make an argument for both those guys. It's just, it's just not really the best spot. There's guys in a lot better matchups today at similar prices that I would just prefer. So, again, you can make an argument for Jimmy. You can make an argument for Bam. I'm not going to get to either. I'm not going to get to any of the value plays either. So this game, all in all, is kind of an avoid game for me. Next game here. This is a game I have a lot more interest in. And I don't think people are going to be that high owned in this game. Right now, I think there's going to be a lot of ownership in that Boston-Cleveland game. I think there's going to be a lot of ownership in this New Orleans-Dallas game and some in the Chicago-Minnesota game. So, yeah, maybe this game might fly under the radar a little bit. Jonas Valanciunas at 7.8K. I really like for GPPs. Again, I think we get about 30 minutes from him because Brooklyn always has their traditional center out there, whether it be DeAndre Jordan, whether it be Jared Allen. Only played 25 due to that blowout. Would not be super concerned about that. He's at 49, 51, and 38 in the blowout the last 3 games. I think the price tag scares some people off. I don't think I go there for cash games, but for GPPs, I do have a good amount of interest in JV. Also has some interest in John Morant. Was a little bit of letdown, but again, that game was a blowout. It's a really good matchup here. I like running a game stack here for GPPs. So yeah, John Morant's another guy I have interest in for GPPs. Obviously no Triple J and Brandon Clark still. Dylan Brooks at 5.4. My concern here is he is scoring dependent, but before that game that blew out, he played 40 and 35 minutes. I think you've got to have some interest in him in a good matchup. The value plays are always you can take shots in like Josh Jackson and Melton and Kyle Anderson, Tyus Jones. They kind of take turns having good games, so it's just more of a dart throw for me and those guys. No one ever really stands out, but I definitely could see like one of those guys having a good game. Kind of like the Spurs guards, right? With like Patty Mills and Bryn Forbes, those really cheap guys, and Derek White. Usually always one of those guys has a good game, but trying to predict which one it is on a night-to-night basis is super tricky. Kind of the same thing with Tyus Jones, Anderson, Melton, and Josh Jackson. And normally one of these guys does have a really big upside, right? Because Tyus Jones, didn't he have like 40 fancy points in literally 19 minutes, 37 fancy points? I think Josh Jackson also had a big game last time out. Yeah, 37. DeAnthony Melton has had big games. He's had 40 fantasy point games before. So, sure, if you want to take a dart throw on those guys, I don't hate it. But trying to predict which one is going to have a good night is really, really hard. On the Brooklyn side, I like Dinwiddie. I like LeVert a good amount. I think LeVert is going to be more popular because of the price tag. You're getting a $600 savings off him, and he also had a huge game last game at 66 fantasy points, 51 real life points. Yeah, I do have interest in him. I also like Dinwiddie. Again, I think his ownership's going to drop due to that tougher game for him last time. Only played 23 minutes, which is a little bit of concern. But normally, I think in a close game, we probably get over 30 from him. It's a really good matchup. So I have interest in Dinwiddie. I have interest in LeVert. There's also no Garrett Temple. He was playing some pretty decent minutes, right? 25-ish or so. Those minutes have to go somewhere. I don't think I get to Prince or Harris. Again, the two centers, if you want to take a shot on one, sure, for GPPs. They're just going to ride the hot hand there. Wilson Chandler and TLC are candidates I think could get a little bit more run with no Garrett Temple. TLC did play 31 minutes last game. I don't know if we can project him to play 30 minutes again. Wilson Chandler maybe gets a little bit more run, but no one I really feel great about either. So obviously, yeah, the main interest there is Dinwiddie. It's LeVert. On the opposite side, it's the main guys in Memphis with JV and John Morant and Dylan Brooks. I think you can run a nice little mini game stack of this one because no one's really more than 8K on either side. So, yeah, I do like this game a good amount. I don't think it's going to be that high owned either. Moving on here, Chicago, Minnesota. So first, let's talk about the guys that are playing. Wendell Carter Jr., Lauri Markkanen, and Otto Porter Jr. All going to be limited. All are priced 5 to 5.5K. I don't have interest. It's a really good matchup, but I just think I prefer some other value plays there. Let's see, Thad Young, I don't think I get to with those with Markkanen and Wendell Carter Jr. coming back. Sandon Rancey's okay, but I think my main interest here is Kobe White at 6.2. No Zach LaVine. He's not going to start, but he's probably going to get over 30 minutes. It's a really, really good matchup. So I do have a good amount of interest in Kobe White. Again, my concern with him is he's a little bit scoring dependent as a guard. But I think you got to have interest there. Oh, Paulie B with the super chat. Thanks, man. You rock, DK Michigan love. I promise that super chat. Thank you, man. I really do appreciate that. Did not have to do that. Yeah, let's keep moving on here with Chicago. I'm not going to get to Denzel at 3.8. I know he had a good game, 21 minutes, 27 fantasy points. It's just, with Otto Porter Jr. back now, they have Markkanen now. They just have more bodies they can use. And again, the reason why I'm not getting into any of these guys is because they're going to be on a minutes limit. Like, can Wendell Carter Jr. get you there in 22 to 24 minutes? Yeah, it's a good matchup, but I prefer other spots. Same thing with Otto Porter Jr., right? He's going to go up to like 22. It's just, I don't think we have to do it. And same thing with Markkanen. So I think my main interest there is Kobe White at 6.2K. Let's move on to Minnesota. D'Angelo Russell was a frustrating letdown in such a high-scoring game. Only 39 fantasy points from him in a 139 to 134 game. I really thought if that was going to be the final score, D'Angelo Russell would have at least 50 fantasy points. He was, he let me down because I had a good lineup going there, ran it back with D'Angelo Russell, and he was just not great. It was those other secondary plays that really took over. Beasley, guys like Naz Reid, James Johnson, Hernan Gomez. I mentioned, getting one of those guys in your lineup wouldn't be a bad idea. After that letdown game, I think his ownership's going to drop 9.1K. I think he's more of a contrarian GPP play. Beasley, again, he had a really good game at 39 fantasy points. Concern here is, again, he is scoring dependent, have some interest, not a whole lot. Hernan Gomez, Naz Reid, and James Johnson. I think all three of these guys are, again, kind of in the same pool. I think getting one of those guys in your lineup is not a bad idea. Hernan Gomez played, 34 minutes. He's been solid 50, 32, and 35 fantasy points the last 3 games. Naz Reid, the concern here is he is in foul trouble a good amount, but had 46 fantasy points, a double-double with a couple blocks and a couple steals. We do want to target bigs against Chicago, so I have some interest in Naz Reid. It's all about your risk tolerance, right? Are you fine with him getting in foul trouble? Because there's a decent chance he will. And then James Johnson off the bench. I think we probably get 20, 25-ish minutes from him. Again, he's a pretty solid point per minute guy. So those 3 wings to bigs, right, with Hernan Gomez, Naz Reid, and James Johnson, I do have interest in those guys. I don't think I get to Okogie or McLaughlin there. I know McLaughlin had a pretty solid game, I think, in limited time, but not going to do it in this one. I think that wraps up for Minnesota. Let's see, we got 20 minutes to lock, 2 games left. Let's refresh Fantasy Lab so we got any more info. Anything here? Thunder, normal starters. Pistons are starting Brandon Knight. Okay, Brandon Knight, Svi, Snell, Wood, and Henson. So that makes me like Brandon Knight a little bit more. Celtics, here we go. Starting Wanamaker, Marcus Smart, Tatum, Grant Williams, and Tice. Brad Wanamaker chalk, man. It has never worked well, but yeah, he's 3.5K. He's a starting point guard. Wanamaker, Grant Williams are obviously guys who have got to have some interest in there as cheap options. Let's talk about the Pelicans and Dallas. So basically every single one of those Pelicans guys got you there last night with Drew, Zion, Ingram, and Lonzo. It was just a really, really high-scoring game. I think these guys can go lower owned tonight just because, the ownership, a lot of the ownership tonight, I think it's going to go to that Boston-Cleveland game. I have some interest in these guys. More of GPP options, but again, they're kind of in that same pool of since they're priced almost the same, that no one really stands out. Normally, if someone's of those 4 guys is the cheapest by far, I'm obviously going to prefer them. But they're all 8.3K to 7.5K, so they're pretty similarly priced. So yeah, I don't really think one of these guys stands out more than the other. But getting one of those guys in your lineup, to run back with Luka or Porzingis, I think it's a pretty solid idea for roster construction. Favors at 5.5. Sure, he's going to play 25 or so minutes. I think he's an okay mid-tier play. Not super, super excited about it. Josh Hart's minutes have been down to 4.4. Did play 26 last game, but don't know if I'm going to get there. I think that really does it for New Orleans. Let's talk about Dallas. So Luka is my top spot up right now. at 10.9K. I know the price went up. I know back-to-back not so good games, but man, this is just a smash spot here against the Pelicans. I'm really excited to watch this game. Two young teams going at it. I am, like I said, I'm really, really excited to sit back, relax, and watch this basketball game. I love Luka as a spend up. He's probably my favorite spend up of the day. Just because he's been playing huge minutes, 37, 38, and 38 minutes. Again, the matchup is amazing. The game's being played at such a fast pace. I love Luka as a spend up. He is, again, my favorite spend up of the day. I have some interest in Porzingis. He's going to be a lot lower owned because I think a lot of people are going to go to Luka, including myself. But that's going to make Porzingis a lot lower owned. Could you run both in the same lineup? I think you could, but I think the only way I would do that if I ran it back with someone on the Pelicans, I kind of just ran like a full game stack there. I do have interest in Porzingis, who has flash upside in games where Luka has been playing, right? 57-49. But I got to prefer Luka there if I'm going to pick one of the spend ups. I'm not going to get to any of the secondary plays when both those guys are healthy. It's just no one really stands out to me. So I think that does it for Dallas. Let's talk about Washington and Portland now. So this is a game that I think goes a bit lower owned as well, but there is some upside here. This one is sitting at 243 over under. I believe, is that the highest? That is the highest. So that one and the Pelicans Mavs games are the two highest over unders of the day. Brad Beal at 10.6K. You have to take into consideration what this guy is doing right now. Huge minutes, huge shot attempts. It's a great matchup. I have some mention Beal. But I got to give the edge to Luka as a spend up over Beal. Now, that's not saying Beal's out of play, because I still like him a good amount and someone I am considering as a contrarian option. But as a cash gameplay, just as a cash gameplay, I think I got to give the edge to Luka over Brad Beal. The other options here, Bertans as a mid-tier play, sure, is in play. You know, he can get hot behind the 3-point line. He can put up 30 plus. I'm fine with him. I don't know if I get to Rui at that price at 5.4. I think he's priced about right. Shabazz is a guy that I do have some mention at 5K. It's a revenge game. I played 28 minutes the last game. Now, it hasn't really flashed big upside recently, but this is, again, a really, really good matchup. So I do like Shabazz a good amount with no Ish Smith. There's a chance they could dust off, Gary Payton for some more run, or even Jerome Robinson. Where's Gary Payton? Has he even been in the rotation? No, but he's a guy, again, that could get in some run. Jerome Robinson has got some decent run as well. Played 30 that last game. He's a punt option I think you can consider. Let's see. Thomas Bryant is also out. He's playing about 15 to 20 minutes a game. Those minutes have to go somewhere. You would think, Mo Wagner would be a candidate for more minutes. I've heard his name a decent amount. He's been terrible. Absolutely terrible. 11, 14 minutes back-to-back games. 3 and 8 fantasy points, but at almost min price in a good spot. I think he's another value guy you can consider for sure. And that kind of does it for Washington. Let's talk about Portland now. Portland's a little bit tricky with Lillard coming back. It's tough. And we don't know if he's going to be limited or not. If he is going to be limited, it would just make everyone kind of hard to get to, even in a really good matchup. I don't know if I get to CJ at 8.6 with Lillard playing, even in a good matchup. I'm not going to get to Melo or Ariza. Whiteside would be a guy I would have some interest in at 9.5 in a good matchup. His role doesn't really change with Lillard coming back, but more just a secondary play. Lillard himself, I think, is more of just a dart throw as well, just because we don't know what his minutes are going to be like. We haven't heard anything. I assume he's going to be limited, but that's just my best guess. And I think that wraps it up for the game-by-game breakdown. So let me refresh this one more time, and then we can get to some core cash game plays for today. So, all right, let's do it. Let's see what I got here. Bring it up. So yeah, I think my spend up for the day right now is Luka Doncic for cash games. Now again, there's a lot of different ways you can go for GPPs, but for cash, I think Doncic is the guy at 10.9K as a spend up. Who else do I want to give here? Let's see. Those Cleveland guys, right? I think you're going to want at least one of those guys in your lineup if they're going to run a 7-man rotation again. So I think Nance at his price is a guy I'm very much considering. Also, I would probably try to get one more, whether it be Kevin Porter Jr. or C.D. Osman. I think both are pretty solid. Both should play huge minutes. I'll go with C.D. right now just because he's the cheaper of the two at 4.1K. Not a guy that has huge upside, right, but played 39 minutes the last game. So, we'll go with that. And then who else do I want to throw in there? Let's see. We'll go with Marcus Smart on the Boston side. Again, this game's going to be really popular. I think you're going to want some exposure to it for cash games. He's going to play huge minutes. He's going to run the point a good amount. He has big upside at 7K with 3 of those main guys out. Now, sure, again, you can make an argument for throwing Brad Wanamaker in there instead of CD Osman if you want. But I think that's a pretty solid cash game core. Just going off the fact that, again, Cleveland ran a 7-man rotation in the last game, and if they're going to continue to do that, then you're going to have some interest in those guys. So as a cash game core, I think it's a pretty solid way to start your lineup. You have 5.3K remaining. You guys can kind of go from there. All right, let's get to some questions now. Let's see. I'm gonna play Mo. Yeah, I mean, I think Mo is a viable punt for sure. Who do you like at utility? 7.9K and under. Let's see, 7.9K under utility. That's a tricky one because there's a lot I like here, like Ingram and Dinwiddie and Jonas Valanciunas and Christian Wood. That's a tricky question. Give me Ingram, just because he's going to play big minutes, but I like a lot of those guys in that range. CD trash. Yeah, he is trash. Knight starting. Yeah, Knight's a guy that I do like as well. You could go Knight over CD. I don't hate that. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think if I should throw Knight in there instead with him starting. The concern is that they do have Jordan McRae available, but a 4.5K, he is a guy that he's been pretty solid. I might throw Knight in there instead of CD. That's close. Yeah, I think that's almost a coin flip for me right now with those value guys. Let's see. The ownership percentage on the Boston-Cleveland game is going to be crazy. It is. Brandon Knight in. Yep, I have some interest in Brandon Knight. Like I said, tell everyone they have the lineups, good cashing lineup. Check your lineups, guys. A lot of good stuff going on. ODK, rolling with Luka, Wanamaker, Tatum, Kevin Porter Jr., Tatum, Naz, Smart, Wagner, and Napier. I like that. Let's see, CD trash. Again, he is kind of trash, but I would fade CD. Don't think you have to play CD. No. Like I said, if you want to play Brandon Knight, that's perfectly fine with me. Sexton, White, Porter Jr., Tatum, Williamson, Svi, Williams, and Brogdon instead of Brogdon, Williamson, Luka, and Portis. You might ask that again. DK for GPPs, JVal, Kobe White, Nance. JVal, Kobe White, Nance, or Tatum, Shabazz, and Bertans. I'll go with the first one, JVal, Kobe White, Nance. CD sucks. He does suck, but he's 4.1K and probably going to play 35 minutes. What's the difference between cash and GPP? Cash games, you don't care about ownership at all. You're just going to try to play the optimal plays. Obviously, cash games is 50% of the people win. So, yeah, ownership does not matter at all, whereas GPP, you can get a little bit more risky. Ownership matters more, right? So, in GPP, if you have two guys that are priced about the same and are going to be, you project them to have like the same fantasy points, and one's going to be 50% owned, whereas one's going to be 10% owned, you're going to want to lean for the guy that's 10% owned and just have that advantage over the field, right? Because if that 50% owned guy busts, you're in a lot better shape. Porter getting much more ownership than CD. Like I said, I'm fine getting a Porter if you want to go Porter over CD. That's a really close call for me too. Stars and scrubs are average for GPP. Depends on the slate. Gibson or Portis. I'll go Portis there. Would you run Tatum, Smart, and Wanamaker? I think you can. Yeah. Love Bam or Tatum, Kobe. I'll go Tatum and Kobe there. Best value 3,400 for guard. Value 3,400 for guard. Let's see. Delvedova and Wanamaker are 3.5. There's honestly not a whole lot I like here. Like Javonte Green, I think is viable, 3.3. I think Pat Connaughton at 3.1, Jerome Robinson at 3.1. I think those are your best options there. Let's see. GPP, Smart, Porter Jr., Warren, Nance, Wood, LeVert, Portis, and White. I like that. Matt Cashon is Luka, Kobe, Kevin Porter Jr., Larry Nance Jr., Reed, Smart, Portis, and Napier. Yeah, that's a pretty solid cash game lineup. CD might drop 35 points. You might have ever thought about doing content on just the late night slates every day. There's nothing out there that just covers the late night slates. I have thought about that. I really have. I got to think is it worth it for me to do late night slates? It's something I might consider if I have the time to throw a video out there for. I don't think I would live stream for the late night slates just because that's a lot of work. But making a video for the late night slate is something I have considered before. Is Otto Porter Jr. worth a look even with the minutes constriction? He's worth a look, but not something I'm going to get to. Ingram seems like a smash play. Like I said, those Pelicans guys are really tough for me because they're all, again, priced similarly. I don't really know if one stands out more than the other, but they're going to play big minutes. Ingram, Drew, Lonzo, and Zion are going to play big minutes. Someone tell me the difference between cash games and GPP. Hopefully I just explained that to you. I'm playing Ingram. Yeah, I like some Ingram. Denzel Valentine, I don't know if I get to him, honestly. He had a good game, but with Otto Porter now, with Lauri Markkanen in now, like Denzel's kind of a wing, right? So Otto Porter playing a little bit more minutes hurts him. Lauri Markkanen going to get some minutes. That's going to hurt Denzel a little bit. Brogdon and Williamson or Luka and Portis. I'll go Luka and Portis there. Utility 5,600 for GPP. Let's see. 5,600 GPP. I think I would go with either Hernan Gomez or Kevin Porter Jr. Now, Kevin Porter Jr. is going to be a lot more popular, right, at 5.3. So if you want to pivot off of him, a guy like Hernan Gomez, who's been solid. He's getting big minutes, 31, 28, 34, going to play about 30 or so minutes. I'm finding into either him or Kevin Porter Jr. is probably the way that I would go there. Who's your favorite 3,500 or under guard on or 3,500 or under? Well, I think it's probably going to be, unfortunately, Brad Wanamaker or Matthew Dellavedova, as gross as that sounds. But, what happened with Chris Boucher last night. Because I don't know if you guys saw my tweet. I played him the previous two games where he got like 10 minutes a game. They still didn't want to give him minutes, even they back out. I was like, screw this. I'm fading him, whatever. And then when I fade him, they give him 30 minutes. He goes for 50 fancy points. Cantor's a guy that, again, if something weird happens, if Tice gets in foul trouble, he's a guy that could absolutely smash if he gets like 20 or so minutes. So this is about your risk tolerance, right? Cantor, obviously a lot more risky. I think Wanamaker and Dellavedova, as gross as that sounds, are probably the options you're looking to there for cash. Ingram, let's see. I'm playing Rui. Rui's okay, 5,700 utility. I think I just went over that. Let's see. Doncic, Kobe White, Smart, LeVert, Osman, Porter, Tatum, and Nance, and Jonas. That's pretty similar to mine. Play Royce O'Neal instead of bum-ass CD. I think I'd prefer CD, man. I know he's terrible. He is, but he's 4.1K and he played 39 minutes. Like, he does have upside, right? So I'm not over the top about CD, right? If you don't want to play CD, I think Brandon Knight is a nice pivot. And again, if you're not confident going to CD, throw Brandon Knight in this core. I think that's perfectly fine. I do have interest in Brandon Knight, someone I am considering. Don't know if I want to work him in or not. Let's see, look at my lineup. He is someone I might try to get in. We'll see. Portis or Mo. I think Portis is safer just because of the minutes. Barea, Brunson, Seth Curry, Doncic going to get big minutes. Well, Brunson's out for the season. Seth Curry, I believe, is still questionable, right? I just don't even consider those Dallas guys when both Porzingis and Doncic are healthy. Yeah, so no, I disagree with you there. Wanamaker, Tatum, or Bam and Shabazz, single entry. I think I got to go Wanamaker and Tatum there. Do you like Grant Williams today? Yeah, so Grant Williams where's his price? He's really cheap, right? He's got to be almost min price. Boston, let's see, forward, Grant Williams, he's 3.1K. He's a not very high usage guy, that's a concern, and they do have a lot of other guys that can use, so that's why I'm not over the top about him. DK, thanks for the info. You should pause the broadcast every midpoint until you have 75% of your watchers throwing you a like. You worked too hard for this. Like I said, if you enjoyed this content, all the likes, hitting the notification bell does really help me out. Mo Harkless, I don't know if I get to him. Late night has to be worth it. There's serious money to be made. Naz or Jared Allen, I'll go Naz there. Do I have to stack Celtics, or can I just play one? I think you can play just one if you want to. I think the cash game build is probably gonna have two Celtics in it. Ja or LeVert. That's a tough one. I think LeVert's going to be way more popular. Now, LeVert's also flashed more upside, so I think I'll go Levert still. I'm rolling with Sexton, Kobe White, Porter Jr., Tatum, Portis, Fee, Grant Williams, Luka. Knight, Smart, Osman, Nance, Joval, Doncic, Portis, Naz Reid, terrible. No, I like that. That's pretty similar to mine. Thanks, man. Love the content. Thank you. 3,200 utility. Again, I think it's probably either, Pat Connaughton, right? I think he'll get a little bit more run. 3,200. Yeah, it's probably Pat Connaughton or Jerome Robinson. I don't know if I get to Grant Williams. I don't know. That's a tough range for sure. You're not gonna feel good about anything there. I'm playing Porzingis. Yeah, I like that as contrarian option. DK the GOAT. Thank you. Let's see. Doncic, Smart, Porter, Young, Whiteside, Wanamaker, Williams, Lopez. What do you think? A little bit risky, but that's fine with me. Reed or Knight? That's tough because I do like both Naz Reid and Brandon Knight. It's about your risk tolerance. I think Brandon Knight is actually a little bit safer just because Naz Reid, again, is in a foul trouble a lot, whereas Naz Reid probably has a little bit more upside. So I think I'll go Knight for cash, Reid for GPP. Zion or Ingram, that's basically a coin flip for me right now. I mean, again, they're both priced about the same. They're both going to play pretty solid minutes. That's a coin flip for me. I don't have a strong lean either way. Late games for all the money. A Porter, Smart, or Wood Knight for cash, DK? That's also a good one. That's a good question because I do like both those options. I think Porter and Smart are going to be higher owned, so for cash games, you probably go with that first option. Jaws bet. DK single entry, Wanamaker, Smart, Porter Jr., Tatum, Portis, Luka, Mo, Kobe White. I don't feel good about it. Yeah, I mean that's pretty similar to mine too. I don't feel great about it either. I tell you overtime I'm on here, but you're a fucking boss, man. Hey, thank you. Really do appreciate that. Is Mo Bamba good? Go for cash or GPP? I don't think I would play Mo Bamba. How many minutes has he been playing? Backing up. Where is he? Mo Bamba. He is 4K. Yeah, he's not going to play. I know he's been solid in those limited run, but I'm not going to get there. Reed or Wancho. Again, I think it's always Naz more for GPPs, whereas Wancho is more of a cash game play. Thanks, buddy. Let's get it and see what ownership is. Yeah, I'm curious. Is the Boston-Cleveland game is in one of the first games, so we're gonna get some ownership right away. Alf Creighton could bounce back for sure, but I'll go cheaper for Barrett. Jazz D sucks. Jazz D has been bad recently, but RJ's 5.8. He had a solid game last game. I'm not super excited about that. GPP, Napier, Connaughton, Porter Jr., Giannis, Portis, Luka, Prince, and Wancho. Yeah, I don't see an issue there, really. All right. Let's see what some ownership is. Oh, it's not locked yet. My computer time is like 2 minutes faster than my phone time. I got to change that. That is weird. Yeah, if I had to guess, I think Nance and Kevin Porter Jr. and Marcus Smart are probably going to be the 3 highest owned guys. Also, Brandon Knight's going to be pretty popular too, and Christian Wood. I think those 5 guys. I haven't looked at ownership yet because it's not locked yet. I think those 5 guys are probably going to be the most popular if I had to throw a guess out there. Smart, Levert, Osman, Nance, J-Val, White, Wood, and Cantor. I like that for GPP. 6,400 utility GPP. Let's see, 6,400. I think I'll go Kobe White there. I like Kobe White's upside a good amount. Even with some of those Chicago guys coming back, it's not really going to affect Kobe White's minutes. Sure, it could hurt his usage a little bit, but the matchup, right, and just the shot attempts he's putting up, I do like Kobe White for GPPs. You ever play FanDuel? I feel like they get to make all-star lines while DK wades through the waters of Boucher like types, lol. I used to play FanDuel back in the day when both sites had roster lock or locked at lock. There was no late swap. But ever since, I played FanDuel from when it started, I think, to like 2017. But then once DK had late swap, I switched there just because I got screwed so many times with guys being late scratch that I didn't want to deal with it anymore. RJ Barrett is far better at home, just like John Morant. He's just matched up. He's high scoring, so he's trending back positive. Yeah, I mean, if that's your gut call of going RJ Barrett, then go with it. Just not someone I'm like super excited about. All right, let's take a look at some ownership here in the $40 single entry. Let's see. Marcus Smart at 39%, C.D. Osman at 14%, Larry Nance only 24%. I thought Larry Nance would be a little bit higher owned. I'm curious to see what everyone else is. Colin Sexton 11%, Wanamaker at 56%. We've seen Wanamaker chalk let you down every single time, but I think he's pretty solid play as a cheap option. Let's see what other people have here. Kevin Porter Jr. is 54%. Jason Tatum's 47%. Yeah, I mean, I like Jason Tatum a lot. I just think I would have given the edge there to Smart over Tatum for the price. Wood is coming in at 7%. I like that. See if I can find some Brandon Knight ownership. Also another guy I had some interest there. Brandon Knight at 23%. All right, so yeah, that's what I got. Let's see what Wanamaker does. He's really popular. Again, he's been a letdown every single time, but 56% owned. I did not play him, so that's kind of how my night's going to go. Wanamaker 38% the $4. Wood at 9%, Cantor at 2%, Connaughton at 0.6. Yeah, I mean, with no George Sheldon, Connaughton gets a little bit more run. Wanamaker 56% the 40. Yep, already have White. Oh, we already have White. Okay, you already have White in 6,400. I wouldn't go Bogdanovich. I wouldn't go Gallinari. I wouldn't go Fournier. I wouldn't go Warren. I don't know if I'll go Beasley either. Yeah, I guess your best option there is Beasley at 6K. I'm not like overly excited about it, but that's the guy I would go to in that situation. Wood 5%. I like that. Yeah, I thought Nance would be higher. I did. I thought Nance would be higher too. So if Tatum is really popular, I'm trying to think. Let's see. Tatum's like 50%. Smart was high owned as well. Maybe Luka's not going to be that high owned. I'm curious. Well, Wanamaker's really popular, so obviously people are going stars and scrubs. Yeah, I'm curious to see what ends up happening there. I think guys like Shabazz is going to be pretty popular in the late game. I think Mo Wagner will probably pick up some ownership. Again, I think Luka will still be pretty high owned, but I'm not sure exactly what his ownership is going to be. Thanks, DK. Yeah, of course, man. All right. I think I'm going to hop out of here, guys. So I really do appreciate everyone coming to check out the live stream. Giannis only 16%. Porter 73% of that cash game LO. Yeah, I mean, the 7-man rotation is what made those Cavs guys more viable. I'm fine getting to CD over Kevin Porter Jr. For about $1,200 cheaper. But we'll see how it ends up going. So yeah, good luck, everyone. Hope you guys have a good night. I'll be back for another video for NBA's slate on Thursday. That'll be up later tonight if you're curious. So yeah, good luck, and I will see you guys all tomorrow.